All right, everybody, and we're back here for Game 2 here at Killing Spree. It's Team Liquid taking on Dignitas, and honestly, I gotta say, Dignitas in game number 1, it felt like they had a really solid draft. They had that one fantastic team fight top, and then after that, things just kind of fell apart. Korok obviously played great, very clutch Orchid timings on Aoi, unable to use the Rage, pretty much just died in team fights repeatedly, and Liquid steamrolled to a very, very fast game win. Of course, my name is Draskyl, joined by Maut of Neo Dota. What is up, man?
Not a whole lot. I mean, you said it. Liquid just played so well, and it just was a clinic they put on with Korok on that OD. The Orchid was so critical. I think Bulba playing an excellent Clockwork, had some great, of course, power cogs, just getting so many kills with the hookshot as well. And Dignitas, they've got to turn it around here. They are the king of the hill right now, but that could change, of course, if Liquid does pick up this next victory here. They will be the new king of the hill for Killing Spree North America. So Dignitas playing against the clock as well, of course, as Team Liquid right now. We'll have to see how they do play up and pick here in this next game.
I'm really excited to watch these teams again because North American Dota, of course, is always fun to watch. There's a lot of aggression typically, although I guess that's kind of standard for most areas of the world right now. More people favoring that early aggressive style because you don't get punished so bad for losing team fights early on as much as you would turtling for like 30 or 45 minutes and then losing a team fight. Then things become pretty difficult. But for Dignitas, it looks like they're not going to let Liquid get Keeper of the Light 2 times in a row, and they're going to go ahead and first ban it.
And I think that's a smart first ban. I think IX Mike plays it so well. You saw in the last game, he had a lot of early aggression with that Illuminate. The recall as well is just so frustrating to deal with. He brought Bulba in numerous amounts of times. And it's just annoying to play against because 1 minute you're sitting in lane farming and the next minute you have a giant wave flying in your face and it just really hurts. So it's a very smart ban out there. And then the Nyx Assassin ban from Team Liquid. So.
Nyx is a hero I think we're not going to get to see a whole lot in any tournament just because of how unbelievably powerful he is. After the Carapace buff, after they buffed his mana burn, I mean, it's a 5 times it multiplier. He can be played as a support, he can be played mid. There's really a lot of things that he can do, not really many things he can't do, especially being a support. The nice thing about that hero is that you are very, very difficult to kill. Once you get Vendetta, you're going to buy Arcane Boots, so that's another boon for your team. You get a very nice stun, and it's because you have to buy Sentries and Dust just to kill him that makes him such an unbelievably powerful support. So Team Liquid not wanting to have to deal with that, obviously very, very smart. But it's kind of interesting to me because last game, we saw Darkseer make it through, and that's a hero who I think, depending on what team you talk to, value him at a different tier. But a couple of months ago, you would have never had the opportunity to see a Darkseer in play, but now we're starting to see him more and more.
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons I love Dota is just because every single, every few weeks it just changes. It shifts a little bit. You see different bans coming out from different teams, and now you see Darkseer almost getting picked up all the time because he's not really banned out anymore, and teams are finding a way to deal with him like you're talking about. And talking about the Nyx Assassin, I mean, he's one of the flavors of the month, actually, really. I mean, just because he's really good. A nice ban out from Dignitas, going to make sure that CK is gone. Liquid doesn't have that available. Dignitas, what I imagine they're going to want to do here is going to pick up a Wisp, just because that's their staple, is get that Wisp, get the Tiny as well. I mean, that's what they love to do. Just get that farm going for Aoi 2000. I'm sure he's a little bit more comfortable on the Tiny than he is on the Nyx, like he was in that previous game, so.
I don't know if it's necessarily about being comfortable. It was more like just Korok, Orchid, Orchid, Orchid every single time, and the Orchid range is actually so big that it's pretty difficult to pre-rage, and even if he did, for example, if he raged mid before he got Orchided out and killed, there was a good opportunity that his rage would have been down before he had gotten to anyone to hit them anyway. So in that sense, Obsidian, or Outworld Devourer, is an unbelievably good counter to Lifestealer just because you can imprison whoever he goes on if he has the rage on, and then you can just get an item like a Hex or an Orchid and just flat out kill him. So for game number 2, looks like Dignitas is going to be able to get their hands on a Wisp, and Team Liquid is going to answer with the same picks that Dignitas had in the reverse position in game number 1.
Yeah, this is very interesting. We'll have to see how this does play out for them right now. Dignitas, of course, they do pick up their standard Wisp, which we talked about earlier, but now Lifestealer and Darkseer in the hands of Liquid could also be very dangerous. I don't know what they're going to do to counteract this. I mean, Dignitas saw firsthand what happens when you pick those heroes first, but what is the response going to be from Dignitas right now? I think they're going to want to get a hero that they run well with. I talked about the Tiny already. I think that there's other heroes that work well in that regard, but I just think Tiny's probably the most likely source here for Aoi 2000. I'd be very surprised to see them go anything else.
Well, yeah, the CK is already banned out. I don't think Dignitas is a huge fan of running Sven anymore either, so I'm pretty much on the same page with you that Tiny is a definite possibility here, and because of the fact that you don't have to worry about buying things like BKB. There's always the opportunity for a Magnus to make it into the pool in the first 6, which a lot of people are not really favoring lately, it seems like. And wow, okay.
Or Slardar. Okay.
I wasn't expecting that at all. I'll be totally honest. I was kind of thinking to myself, yeah, there's a lot of options here. And then what? Slardar? Okay. So Bane, obviously a little bit more standard, I would say, than a Slardar. But if you think about it this way, you can amp a Lifestealer through his rage, and Slardar's actually really, really good against heroes who rush BKBs, and in that same sense, Lifestealer relying on his rage so heavily during the early stage of the game, it could work out pretty well for them.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the good follow-up pick is Bane as well. And like you were talking about, the amplified damage on Lifestealer is going to be very important. Just dealing that damage. And the next important thing is going to be have Bane Nightmare or do some sort of, using his Fiend's Grip even to get Lifestealer and just hold him in place. Get that lockdown going for Team Dignitas right now. And I think Slaughter, although really never picked, like ever, I think it's actually a nice pickup here for them. However, of course, we will see the next pickup from Team Liquid, and they've got time to really figure out what they want to go for here.
Yeah, I think people really forget that amplified damage at level 16, minus 20 armor. Minus 20. That is insane. That is more minus armor than most heroes will have throughout the entire game, period. So you're putting somebody into the negative already. Lifestealer known for having a very low base armor. Then you have Bane, who can use Enfeeble on you. That doesn't break when you rage or BKB anymore, so that's minus 120 damage. I'm kind of thinking for 2 games in a row, this Lifestealer is going to have a very, very difficult time doing much of anything, and of course it's not going to be played on the side of Dignitas for Game 2, but it just feels like both of these teams are so accustomed to playing against the hero that they know exactly what to pick to make his life just miserable.
And it also does provide us a little bit of insight into what they're thinking, like in terms of just experimental strategies. I mean, these are strategies and heroes we don't necessarily see a whole lot of the time. First of all, yes, OD's picked occasionally, but Clockwork, not necessarily. Not that he's a big Lifestealer counter or anything like that, but Slardar certainly never picked up there. So this is what I love about this, and I think that Killing Spree is sort of a breeding ground for experimentation, which is really great because you get to see these big time, just sort of these trends that are coming up in the North American scene because they take it from not only, what they've seen in terms of European play, but as well as amateur North American players as well. So the last pickup here for the first pick phase is going to be the Leshrac for the Team Liquid, and that's a good pickup for them there. That's going to be some nice tower pushing potential.
Well, normally you would see something like a Lina in this situation because Lifestealer and Lina together is just a very, very high burst damage output, as you had said, and that's what people typically go for. But when you pick up a Leshrac, it kind of tells me that Liquid wants to apply a little bit more pressure. During the early game, you have the option to go Edict if you want to. Heck, you could even send the Leshrac mid if you really wanted to, like Blast from the past, back when Cinderin and the old iteration of MTW used to put that mid and max out Split Earth and Lightning Storm and just do it that way. Things have changed quite a bit since then, but it's obviously still a possibility here for Team Liquid. It's just a situation where I see Dignitas lineup, and I see the mass amount of disable, the insane mobility. I don't know if there's anything scarier than a Slardar and a Wisp teleporting on top of you because you actually cannot juke that. You have Sprint, and then you're going to have Amp, and then the Wisp is going to be there with a tether as well. So that Slardar is pretty much going to be moving at haste speed, which makes life pretty difficult for landing anything that resembles a Split Earth from a Leshrac. I mean, things are going to be looking really scary for Team Liquid here, I think, during the mid-game from Dignitas' first 3 heroes thus far, and they're going to add a Weaver to their lineup, so more mobility, more potential to take those team fights and just kite all day.
Yeah, absolutely. And you made a really good point about the Slardar and the Wisp. Once you get that relocate, which is level 6, if they do have to get that in the first case, but if they do get that, I mean, you're going to be dead if you get relocated on. There's, like you said, the tether, of course, just the amount of speed you can move, the Slithering Crush, the amp damage, they will kill you. They will kill you dead really quickly. But what I love as well is Dignitas going for a really great lineup here. Weaver is going to run out. That's probably going to be their side laner, I'd imagine, who's played a lot in the North American scene just because he did so much damage early on. Shikuchi, a nice spell as well, and it also provides him a lot of survivability in that side lane, so I think it's a very good pickup. Rubik, though, from Team Liquid, nice pick there. It's going to provide them some spell stealing as well as, of course, that telekinesis, so there could be that early disable potential on the side of Team Liquid as well. And then the puck to finish it off for Dignitas, so man, they are mobile, and they are looking for team fights.
Well, they're not only looking for team fights, but they're looking for picks. How easy is it to basically teleport on top of a coil from Puck and just get kills because you just managed to find somebody off in the middle of nowhere all by themselves. And that's pretty much what Dignitas lineup is meant to do. Take small skirmishes, 2v3s, 3v3s, whatever you want. A full-fledged team fight probably wouldn't go too poorly for them, but a Puck is just a fantastic addition because of the fact that it gives you that incredibly long-range initiation. Of course, you already have a Wisp at your disposal, so that's pretty much as long-range initiation as you can get going from one side of the map to the other. But just having that extra flexibility to have the Puck there to make sure that the coil is going to hold them in place long enough for the Wisp teleport, very, very nicely drafted here by Dignitas. Of course, Team Liquid has a very powerful team as well. You got the telekinesis, like you were saying, the ability to shackle, and that was my one worry for Liquid during the beginning of the draft because they didn't have any guaranteed disable per se for heroes like Weaver or for heroes like Sardar or even Puck to an extent, but now they do. Now they have that telekinesis, now they have that shackle. Of course, shackle being a little bit harder to land than most disables, but we'll have to see how Liquid is able to do this. Of course, we'll go over the players really quick for you guys. This is game number 2, by the way. Currently, Liquid is sitting at 1-0. The Good Luck Have Fun's come out, all mannered here. We're going to see Windrunner being played by Korak Bulba. Going to be playing on the Darkseer IX Mike 88, taking up the reins on Rubik. TC going to be playing on Lifestealer, and then we're going to have Fluff on Leshrac.
Absolutely. And on the side of Dignitas, you're going to see Fog there on the Puck. Of course, sides of time on the Wisp. See Way Too Sexy in the Bane, Aoi 2000 on that Slaughter, and finishing off Universe on the Weaver. So they're looking for engagement down here in the bottom lane. There could be some early blood spilled here. Oh boy, I hope Way Too doesn't get caught out. He very well might. Oh, he didn't go for the open wounds, however. They backed off for the moment.
It's a little bit scary to engage into this if you're Dignitas. You don't really have the level 1 team fight I think that you would really want against Liquid. We're talking about Ion Shell, the potential for Shackle or Power Shot, whatever he wants to take. Open Wounds pretty much guarantees the stun, and you're going to have Telekinesis follow-up. We can already see an aggressive ward being placed here by Liquid. They want to make sure that their aggressive trail lane is going to be pretty successful. And that's one thing we haven't really hit too much on, is what the lanes are going to be shaping up to be for both of these teams. But so far, it looks like Liquid is going to be going for that aggressive tri lane against what appears to be, at the moment, a solo Weaver.
Yeah, and if they can get some vision on him and try to get him down, I mean, he is rather squishy. It's tough against the tri lane. He will be sitting here solo right now, as you can see. Actually, looking to head mid right now is Fluff picking up that invis. He'll get a split earth off, maybe. They didn't have any vision on that rune either, so they don't know what that is. If anybody comes mid right now, they could be in some trouble. It is fogged. He doesn't skill anything up just yet, but it looks like there could be a gank on him.
Yeah, Fogged actually skilling Phase Shift level 1, so that's only 0.75 seconds of immunity. If Fluff manages to land a stun, I don't think they'll be able to kill him, but they'll certainly be able to do quite a bit of damage. And yet, here comes the stun, doing quite a bit of damage so far. Oh, Axe Mike coming in from the side, Fog taking the good path. There's the Shackle. Are they going to get him in time? It looks like they will. Very nice timing from IX Mike, roaming in from the side just in time to get the telekinesis. And of course, Korak with the perfectly timed Shackle, realizing how far away he would be running. And once again, Liquid puts themselves on the board.
Yeah, that was a really nice pick up there. Fluff had that invis when we were talking about it. They were thinking about getting the kill. Ixmonk joining in the battle at the perfect time and the perfect shackle shot from Korak, just showing his skills, making sure it is known. So Fogged already a little bit behind. Korak going to take up a little bit of that gold as well. So they're going to head down bottom, as you can see, with Liquid here. They're going to try to maybe go on Weaver, but there is no Sentry Ward here just yet. But Ixmonk is going to roam in. There's the Sentry. Chikuchi's going to fly.
Yeah, he's going to get the follow-up stun as well. Shikuchi is going to be off. The open wound slow as well, and Universe is going to be going down. Interesting that he actually got caught by that, because I'm pretty sure that Way2 actually spotted the two supports walking down there in the first place. Maybe Universe a little bit overconfident, underestimated the damage output that a Leshrac and a Rubik would have at level 2. And of course, I don't think IX Mike was actually level 2 until that kill went off. So yeah, a little bit of misplay there by Universe, a little uncharacteristic of him, but still, Liquid 2-0 right now.
Yeah, this is going to provide a lot of early gold for those supports. And I mean, that level 2 early on is very nice to have at 148. You usually don't see that in that aggressive tri lane, so they're already doing a really good job of roaming. And look, they're going to smoke up again. They're maybe going to go mid. They're going to maybe think about going to the jungle. Way2 is sort of exposed here, so if he goes down as well, that's another kill for them. But there is this Radiant Sentry Ward. They might spot this out. They will ping it out there. As you can see, Fog will ping that one for him. So they're going to spot that out now. You're going to see Universe back off to the tower.
Yeah, Universe not going to get caught by the same trick twice. Very, very good movement by him. We haven't really talked a whole lot about this top lane, and Aoi is struggling a little bit to farm, as most melee heroes do against the Darkseer. But they're going to be relying on him pretty heavily. They really, really want this Wisp and the Slaughter to be successful, and Tides needs to be incredibly careful in this situation. Unfortunately, Bulba does not have enough for an Ion Shell and a Surge. Oh, now he does. He does have mana for the Surge, but yep, there's the Tether. So it looks like Tides is going to be just fine for the moment. And Liquid is playing a very, very patient game. down here at bottom. They are looking for Universe, and Universe is not having it, man. In the meantime, mid, Fog taking quite a bit of damage. There's going to be a Nightmare coming out from way too. He's only level 1 though, so he doesn't have Brain Sap. Korok going to take another tower hit. Can he get the trickles off? No, he can't. And Korok ends up dying to the tower. So over-aggression on both sides so far as Dignitas puts himself on the board.
Yeah, I think he wanted that kill. I mean, he had the DD room, but unfortunately that was a really nice rotation coming in from way two. He's right in that jungle trying to pull. Universe is going to head out a little bit away from this tower. He can't get anything right now. He does have 6 last hits, but there's this Sentry Ward here, and if he goes out just a little bit further, Liquid's going to jump right on top of him, I think.
I really like this play by Liquid because at the beginning, when you saw the supports not here helping out TC, you could think to yourself, how is a Lifestealer ever going to farm against a Weaver? But just the pressure of thinking that the supports are there, you can see Universe's positioning. He is so far back, he's unable to get any CS, so it's just kind of like that mind game of they could be here, and of course they are at this particular point. There's actually a lane ward here from Dignitas as well, but they weren't going to be able to spot out the supports from the position that they were in. So Universe definitely struggling here. TC sitting at 22 last hits in the off lane, and most of the time his supports haven't even been in lane with him. So looks like Universe going to harass Fluff here a little bit, taking a little bit of damage from the creep wave too. Does need to be careful to not get caught out by that telekinesis, but so far Liquid obviously leading, but not by a wide margin.
Absolutely, and now, I mean, Universe is playing the smart play here. He's going to sit behind these creeps, of course. Ice Mike has the dust. He needs to get a little bit closer to really pop that off, and if they want to go for him, he's also got to get that telekinesis going. But they are going to push this tower here with this level 1 Edict, which, I mean, look at this tower already. It's at 400 health here. And TC, like you said, sitting at 23 last hits. If this is an early tower for them, that's going to provide them even more farm, and that could be huge.
It's definitely going to be something they're looking to go for, at the very least, continuing to apply pressure here. Fluff probably going to be putting another point into that Diabolic Edict once he hits level 3. But the one thing you have to remember is that when you kill this tower at this early stage, I mean, it's approaching 5 minutes in. If this tower dies, there's a pretty good chance that Dignitas is going to start rotating over supports, prevent Liquid from pushing into tier 2, and then you have a situation where Liquid's not going to have as many places to farm as they have before. Finally going to see the glyph popped here. Edict level 2 now on Fluff, still continuing to apply pressure. We can already see Way2's made his way down here to the lane. He's level 3, so he's got level 2 Brain Sap and Boots. Tower kill going to be going the way of Liquid. TC picks up the last hit. But now it's the situation where you basically have to make your roaming worth it, or killing this tower eventually is going to backfire because you're not going to be able to get the same amount of farm as you would normally.
Absolutely, and that's such a good point. I mean, TC now, he will farm this lane, but, you know, they need to roam out here. Liquid has to send their supports elsewhere, go for a kill on Fog, which is going to be difficult, especially on that puck. But the might is coming for TC. Now, of course, there's going to be Shikuchi going in on Universe. It looks like they want to chase this, but Universe is going to go into the jungle down here. Has Shikuchi in about 3 seconds. He's actually going to TP out, and there's nothing he can do to stop this, so he'll be fine. He's actually going to TP back to the tier 3 tower, so...
That still hurts, though. Anytime out of the lane, anytime not getting experience, all of that adds up, and looks like the Observer Ward here on the high ground, spotting out Korok as he was trying to rotate towards the bottom lane to look for another kill. But Dignitas has done a really nice job so far preventing any more losses from happening. They've had really good positioning. Getting caught out once is definitely understandable in competitive games. The movement from Liquid has been very nice, but oh no, Way2 getting caught out a little bit here. Looks like Puck managed to kill Korok mid. In the meantime, there's the Nightmare. I think Bane's going to be able to get away from this as the rest of Dignitas is rotating down. Do they want to try to take this fight or not? They have 4. Currently it's a 3-on-4. If they want to try to engage into this, TC is 6. There's telekinesis onto Way2. Is he going to get these spells off in time? Ice Mike looks like he's going to be the first one to drop. Universe gets a kill. TC gets a counter kill onto Bane, and Leshrac is going to be dropping as well, so it's a 2-for-1 exchange. And now TC, not done just yet, but it's so hard to stick on anyone. He will manage to hit the Wisp twice, seal the kill, trying to run back to the bottom rune spot, but there is no help in sight right now for TC, but I actually don't think there's enough mana for them to chase, so unfortunate, but looks like it was a 2-for-2 overall.
Yeah, and that could have been a lot worse for, like, you talked about, it was a 3v4, and man, I mean, TC just does so much damage. Even without anything really on that Lifestealer, he was able to invest, which dealt damage because they got close to that creep. They wanted to chase him, and that was able to get tides low enough to get the kill as well. And I mean, TC just playing so well. He's sitting at 37 last hits. Level 7 right now. He's tied with Fogged, of course, as well as that Darkseer up in that top lane. Now they're going to go mid right now, looking on Fogged.
Yeah, I need to be careful with that courier too. Fogged very smartly holding his phase shift. If he had used it prematurely or anything like that, there would have been opportunity for Korok to throw out a shackle, but not going to be the case. And of course, phase shifting would have given more time for Rubik to catch up, so nice decision making overall there by Fogged. TC managing to get back into the lane. He's got his phase boots finished, already has his Midas up. looking to apply some pressure here to Universe, but I don't think a Weaver is going to be too scared of a Lifestealer. As long as he has mana for one Chikuchi, I think his life's going to be just fine. A little bit strange, actually, that he doesn't have a wand yet, considering how many heroes have actually been down here for the beginning of the game. Maybe he's going to pick it up right now. Nope, he's actually just going to go ahead and TP back to base. So unfortunate for him that he's only got 19 CS right now. It's approaching 8 minutes in game number 2 versus Dignitas and Liquid. So 4-4, pretty even game so far. Both carries on both teams farming pretty consistently, I would say. 45 CS comparative to 36. And all is quiet so far, Maut.
Yeah, and it will be, at least up until Tides gets that level 6, which is what he's trying to do here in the top lane. You can see he's trying to get some farm here. He's looking to get 6, and once he has that, there's going to be a lot of relocates happening. We talked about it in the draft when they picked up that Slaughter, who does have amplified damage, level 1 right now. Got his treads as well, so they could start roaming, and by roaming I mean just porting all over the map and killing people. That's going to be something they're going to have to look out, but Lifestealer is going to be difficult to kill for sure if they decide to go for him, but Tides of Time still very close to 6, and that's, I mean, it's going to be quiet, but once that 6 does hit up, it'll probably get loud very quickly.
And that's what I'm expecting as well. Dignitas obviously has very, very high kill potential, and something also important to keep in mind is that even though Korok managed to get first blood on mid, he's actually 1 and 2 right now because of the rotations coming out from Dignitas supports, and really just Korok playing a little bit over aggressive. He's only level 6. Oh man, Coil going to be used on mid. Here comes the loop around from Dignitas. They're going to catch him out here for sure. That's going to be a free kill. Teleport coming in from IX Mike. Probably should have canceled that one. Telekinesis goes off. He does stun Aoi under the tower, but unfortunately no one here to help. And that's going to be another free kill. So instead of a 1 for 0 exchange, looks like it was a 0 for 2, as Liquid gives away 2 for free.
Absolutely, but they will push top lane in the meantime. They're going to take the tier 1 tower, which is great, but at the same time, they're losing that. They're losing the kills, of course, to Dignitas. We talked about the experience early on for, of course, both the Rubik as well as the Leshrac. They're now behind, as you can see. Fluff just hitting level 5 now. Ixmec at level 4. While they had a very good start, they're not in the best position now. The good thing is, though, they have TC farming with 55 last hits, and I'd say, I don't know, it'll be tough against that amplified damage with the Slaughter, but later on into the game, it could get better for them. We will have to see how this does fare. Of course, Korok does need to get some farm as well. But of course, like you said, he did die twice, and then the third time in that mid lane with the Dream Coil being used as well. So now we're going to see a lot more aggression from Dignitas. They've got more lane control. They've got more map control just because of that relocate available now for Tides of Time, who will probably TP back in and then relocate Aoi somewhere looking for a kill.
Well, they need to be really careful for Liquid. This smoke gank could totally backfire. If they go for Universe and don't kill him fast enough, that Wisp is 6, but yeah, there's actually no one nearby for him to tether to. Oh man, they're going to catch out way too. Drops a sentry. There's the open wounds. And goodbye, my friend. Stun's going to come out. It's actually going to land, even though he pulled him a little bit far back. So that's going to be TC picking up another kill. He's actually got 4 of the 5 kills so far for Liquid in game number 2. And Liquid continuing to apply some pressure. They realize that getting it away from that Wisp, being able to push the towers in as hard as you can, getting the tier 1 top, getting the tier 1 bottom, it makes it so Dignitas has a harder time getting out onto your side of the map to ward for that vision, for that Wisp teleport. So now, of course, both of them level 6, actually Aoi level 7, probably going to see some action soon.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that Liquid can do to counteract this, though, is just play as 5, play together, and not stay as just 1 hero or 2 heroes. Stay with 3 or 4. There's going to be a relocate coming in, though.
Teleport coming in. Korok looks like he's going to be a little bit of the first target. Fluff taking a lot of damage. Gets amplified. Coil hits 2. Telekinesis back. Tide's taking away a bit of damage. Shackled to a tree. Nice power shot from Korok. Actually, it's 2. IX Mike going to be dropping as well. Aoi trying to make his way out of the fight so far. Korok still running. He's got another wind walk up if he needs to use it, or excuse me, wind run. And TC completely out of mana at this point. Universe going to be just fine, as is Fog. Bulba still amped up, going to be caught out. Oh, a little bit of blocking going on. Oh, he teleports in and gets the waning rift off. That's going to be another kill. Korok drops, and Bulba with the amplified damage getting hit so hard by the Geminate attack. Fluff back in the fight. Got resurrected here. Oh no, the follow-ups, and he actually cancels it, and he phase shifts after the telekinesis anyway, so wouldn't have hit regardless. And Dignitas just teleporting right in, abusing that Weaver's mobility for the vision, and took a very, very nice team fight.
Yeah, that certainly was. I mean, the Nightmare was really well timed down to TC, who couldn't do anything once he gets Nightmared up, and they didn't get him out of it quickly enough, and they just really took the fight. I mean, TC got the kill on, of course, the Wisp, but that was pretty much it there for them, and Dignitas taking a bunch of kills in the meantime, a lot, of course, on the supports, getting more farm for that Slaughter. With that amplified damage, you just saw how much damage it does do, especially with that Weaver, who has that long range, of course, with the Geminate attack as well. So they're picking off kills right now. It's 9-6. the experience at 500. The gold is actually 3,000 for Liquid right now, but a lot of that coming from towers. So if they can keep getting these fights, these pickoffs, I should say, Dignitas can come back and they can take some towers of their own.
Well, the one thing that Dignitas needs to make sure they do is keep TC in check, because at the moment, Slardar doesn't really have the same level of farm as the Lifestealer does, especially considering TC went for a Midas. So as time goes on, TC is going to be pulling ahead, assuming Dignitas isn't pushing those fights like you had said. And obviously they're going to be going for that. Tide's getting very close to level 7. It means he's going to have maxed out spirits for whenever they want to teleport gank onto somebody. But I just love the way that they went for that. They used Universe to go in, initiate right away, realize he's so fast, there's a good chance that they're not going to have detection down because Way2 had dropped a sentry a little bit ago. They just knew they were around there, took the fight, managed to do very, very well with it. And just because they have a Puck who's just a monstrous mid-game hero, he's level 10. And Korok is a full 2 levels behind him now, considering the start that Korok had. That is a huge recovery coming out from Fog, and Dignitas still looking to be in pretty good shape.
Think so.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Dignitas right now, and you talked about level 10 on Puck, and that's going to be huge. That second level of Dream Coil is going to be coming up soon. Fog is just a monster Puck player in general. I mean, Fog plays any mid really well, but I've seen him play a lot of them, and Puck just goes really well for him. Talking about the Weaver, too, Weaver had a tough early game, but Weaver's one of those heroes that can bounce back really well, especially later on into the game. He can dish out the damage. It's going to be really tough to kill him, especially he's got, level 4 Shikuchi. If he goes for a Lincoln Sphere, it's going to be even more difficult. I mean, Universe is starting to find farm. He's at 42 CS right now, which isn't the most in the world, but still, he did catch up despite the the early gank that he had on him coming out from Liquid. But Liquid now, they need to stick as 5. They need to try to push. But again, I mean, if they try to push into a team fight, especially with a Dream Coil for Puck, they could be certainly in some trouble. So really, they need to find farm for TC. And then, of course, I'm not sure after that. They have the armlet on the Lifestealer right now, but they have to be careful. They're sort of all not really together. You see Bulba in the top lane, of course, and the jungle's Fluff. Mid lane, there's 2 heroes. So, I mean, they're all sort of around. There could be just another relocate coming in from Tides of Time, and that could certainly be scary, and you want to check out for that.
Well, at the moment, Tides of Time is actually making his way back to Aoi, who is sitting farming in the top lane, and that could be why Liquid's feeling a little bit safe right now. They don't actually see Tides in the map, so as long as he's not sitting on top of Aoi, then you can expect the teleport's not going to be coming. But here we go. They're going to teleport behind mid. Finally, Tides of Time has met up with the Slardar. The Silent's actually going to hit both. Not using Dream Coil just yet. Looks like IX Mike is going to be the first one to drop. Aoi not getting shackled with that tree, just barely dodging it. Looks like everyone from Dignitas is here so far, and the teleport out already. So it looks like Aoi and Tides are not going to be here for the moment. TC unable to get the kill on Puck. It looks like it actually went to the Dire instead. Still chasing down here on Bane. Going to get Nightmared up. He is still Surge actually for the moment, trying to TP away. Can he get it off in time? It looks like he will manage to get out. So Korok, very nice play, waking up Aoi, or excuse me, waking up TC from that Nightmare. But fortunately enough, Bane was able to get away. Oh no, Universe, this is not where you want to be, bud. Using that Shikuchi to get away, and Open Wounds does not go through Shikuchi, so max movement speed. And it looks like Universe is going to be just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a good relocate, and it was a good TP rotation from Liquid. I think they got Mike as well as 2 on the side of that. I know they got 1 on the backside. Universe actually got a double kill because they left him unchecked, and he chased down. He actually dove the tower a little bit trying to get another kill. I forget who it was on. Looks like it was on Fluff. Yeah, he was trying to get away from there, and it just... The relocate came out, and then it went away, of course, bringing Aoi 2000 back to continue to farm. And then, of course, TC was there just trying to get some kills. So Liquid turned it around a little bit, but still, we were getting a double kill, certainly not what you wanted there. And he's actually got to pick something up. He's at 100 gold right now. So he's going to have an ultimate orb. And like I was talking about, that early Lincoln Sphere, well, not early anymore, but that Lincoln Sphere, pretty nice to have. And we'll see if he can finish that up soon. Meanwhile, Liquid now trying to play as 5, and it looks like they're going to go for this tower here.
The one big difference between this game and last game, too, is that Liquid doesn't have Korok being monstrously farmed right now, but they still want to go for it. Fluff's going to pop the Edict. He does have level 4 at the moment. They're going to be applying some pressure to this tower. Tide's doing a nice job of being abusive with those spirits, pushing Liquid back for the moment, but this is basically one of the fallback strategies you can use against Wisp, is just play as 5. But I don't really know if Liquid's 5-man is going to be as good as Dignitas, because Dignitas actually have a really nice teamfight hero in the Puck, and that really all they have to answer that is Darkseer, and the Darkseer does have a mech, so this could be the timing they're looking for. Maybe try to get a tower, take a big team fight, get a couple of kills, use Surge on TC so we can actually get into the fights and make sure the supports are there to stop things like Fiend's Grip or to wake up TC from Nightmare. But looks like Liquid gonna just think better of it and fall back instead.
I kind of like this decision for one reason. There's, well, for a couple of reasons. Fogged actually finished up his Blink Dagger, which makes Puck insanely hard to kill. If you've ever played a Puck or against a Puck, Puck with a Blink Dagger is really difficult if you get that max phase shift, which he doesn't have yet. So you can still kill him pretty easily. Still, though, I mean, the team fight, like you talked about with Dreamcoil, the illusory orb as well. But the other thing is the fact that Bulba doesn't even have a point in wall yet. He's sitting at level 10. He's going to have it in just a moment, and he wants to farm it up as quickly as possible. So if he can get that done, then yes, he'll be able to probably try to team fight. That wall of replica will be providing a lot of damage as well. You can never really count out a team, especially when they have the Darkseer with the Wall of Replica. It's just such a strong spell, especially when it gets to level 2 and 3. So if Bulba can get those 2 levels, he'll be in a good spot. He does pick up level 11 right now, and he's got a TP as well if they decide to pressure mid.
Really curious to see if Dignitas wants to engage. They got double blink, by the way. Slardar and Fog both have it, so that's going to be pretty difficult to deal with. Wisp activating a haste turn. It looks like he's going to be teleporting top to go assist Aoi and teleport him wherever he needs to go, courtesy of Wisp Airlines. But Weaver is still continuing to farm in this bottom lane. He's been left completely alone after the first, I would say, 5 or 10 minutes of the game. And this is kind of the point where Liquid wants to try to make something happen, but it's just so daunting trying to engage into what Dignitas has. That initiation potential coming out is just so unbelievably good that I'm not sure if they're going to be able to walk into a team fight without just expecting it to be a 5-on-5 engagement no matter what. But Liquid going to be smoking up here, looping around, or potentially even going for Aoi at the moment. It would be a pretty tough kill to get him because of sprint and things like that, but they are going to be trying to cut him off. The first one in is going to be IX Mike. He does have sprint activated that he stole from Aoi himself. The blink is going to go straight down, and he gets away without even having to use the sprint himself. So IX Mike trying to be a little bit tricky there and catch him, but Aoi gets away.
I mean, you called it. It's just going to be so difficult, especially now with that Blink Dagger up on, of course, Aoi 2000 there, as well as the sprint. It's just so hard. And, I mean, IX Mike tried to catch him out. It just didn't happen. He wanted that telekinesis. You could see it. It just wasn't available, and they couldn't really get the catch out there, unfortunately. So that's, not necessarily wasted. They did push this, or they're going to push this lane a little bit, not allowing Aoi to continue to farm, which is nice. He's going to go for a BKB also. So Aoi looking to get some of that magic immunity. At least I think it's going to be a BKB. I'd imagine so. And in the bottom lane, like you said, Universe has been free farming essentially the last 5 to 7 minutes, and they're going to go for Tier 1 tower. Is going to be a TP rotation coming in from Fluff as well as another here. I'll try to push this back.
I don't really think that Dignitas is looking to take a fight without the Puck there. He's pretty much the only hero who essentially has to be at these engagements because they're really relying on his initiation to be able to get the Wisp teleport in and things like that. And because Tide is nowhere near Slardar at the moment, it's just a mistake to try to engage. So nice decision by Dignitas to go ahead and fall back. At the very least, they forced TPs out of Liquid, but this is now an opportunity for Liquid. Do they want to try to go for Roshan? Because of the fact that they have that mech already done, they have a Lifestealer with open wounds and a double damages here, so there is definitely an opportunity if they wanted to go for it. Looks like there's going to be a bottle trade here. TC is going to go ahead and take the DD and just give the bottle back to Korok, or he's going to hold on to it for a second. And yeah, it looks like it is going to be a Rosh attempt.
And this is definitely the smart choice. I think if they don't get that DD rune, maybe they don't go for it. But now, I mean, this should be very quick Roshan attempts right now. I don't think there's any vision guaranteeing Dignitas the site on Roshan. They're going to head around the Rosh pit. They have not necessarily everybody here. There's going to be a loser orb flying it. He's going to see it. Rage is going to fly from TC. Mech's going to go as well. So they should be able to take this, but...
Oh, this could be a really bad idea from Liquid. TC is still very, very low. Teleport in from Aoi. Hit stun on 2. Fluff and Korok both going to be in a lot of trouble. Fiend Script going off on a Bulba as well. Unable to do anything. Focused down by Dignitas. And on the side, Tide's getting a double kill. So Korok dies as well. That's 3 down. TC, no health to speak of. He's looking for something to infest into. TC trying to go for a kill right now. Oh, Fiend Script was actually stolen by IX Mike. But no, the ultimate from Universe goes off just in time. He time lapses and doesn't die at all. Aoi gonna go ahead and blink back into the pit and take a free Roshan for Dignitas.
I don't even know how they did that. They walked right in there. I mean, that's the great thing about Wisp. The relocate was so nice, and they have the amplified damage. They'll take down the Roshan just immediately. And that fight was huge. They got them right in this corner here, right near the high ground, of course, near the Ancient Stack. You did that Slithering Crush, which did so much damage, and then, of course, Tides with the Spirits. He's probably the happiest Wisp ever, getting that double kill. So really nice pickup for him as well. So it's 15-7, so they're in a really good position. I mean, they're trying to turn this around, bring this to a game number 3, and they've also got quite a bit of a lead in terms of experience right now. If you look at the graphs here, 7,500, and gold's at 3,000, which not too much, but still the experience at 7,500 is also very, very daunting.
That's just one of the risks you run. We talked about it at the beginning of the game. It's just when you teleport on a Wisp or you try to take any kind of engagement, if you're Liquid, you have to assume that 2 more heroes are going to be there. Just guaranteed. I think that they thought that they could get away with it. Maybe they thought they had enough damage with the DD, and it was a call that they wanted to make because they felt like they were going to be behind regardless, and they paid for it. That's really all there is to it. Now Universe has the link, it's done. BKB going to be picked up here on Aoi 2000 with that Aegis. And things just got a lot worse for Liquid, I would say, in the last couple of minutes. It has that same feeling that game number 1 had, except the shoes on the other foot, where Liquid took that gigantic lead. Now it feels like Dignitas, this game is just all them.
Absolutely, and it's going to be tough, I think, for Liquid to really mount a comeback here. I mean, that was probably the perfect Roshan attempt they could have had. They just got caught out doing so. I mean, it was very close to going down with that double damage rune. Of course, they just couldn't finish the job, partly because they got spotted out there and Dignitas was able to take it. Like you said, there is sort of that sinking feeling. Fogged has plenty. They're going for a Scythe of Vice on that puck, and if he can get that, oh boy, would they be in a good position. Korok trying desperately to get Orc and Malevolence, and if they can get that relocate, though.
Bulba, you are in so much trouble, but are they really not going to be able to get him here? Fog continuing to chase. He didn't even expend the coil, actually. It looks like they didn't want to go for the kill at all. They'd rather just go ahead and take the tier 1, which I guess is fine. Coil only hits 1. Bulba manages to dodge it somehow. Splitter going to go off. Catch Universe. Silence comes out. Bulba could actually be dropping here, but IX might get the kill on Fogged instead. Looks like he stole Waning Rift. They want to try to go for the Weaver, but Fiend's Grip going to be used on Korok. Here comes Aoi with a nice 3-man stun. Pops BKB. Wall goes down. Bulba Bulba not going to be dropping. Looks like that was Weaver. And IX Mike going to be dropping for the second time. Did he buy back and die twice? Looks like Leshrac dying in the pit as well. I think I'm like hallucinating. I could have sworn that he died in the beginning of the fight, but I guess he didn't.
I think he survived somehow, I believe. Meanwhile, though, Puck going to get the kill on Darkseer, and now they're playing aggressively here. TC looked at like he wanted to go, but now he's back off. As you can see, there's nobody left on his team right now. And that was very close for Dignitas. It was a really great initiation with, of course, the Bane ulting, and then immediately IX Mike was trying to get the lift up on the Bane to make sure that he stopped it. But there's a huge blink coming in from Aoi 2000 that did that Slitherine Crush, which was absolutely great timing there to make sure. And Fogg's going to blink at him right on top of TC, but TC should be okay.
Yeah, TC is a little bit too tanky for just a lone Puck to kill at the moment. And he decided to go for a Basher, so he wants more capability to do damage through BKB, try to hold the Slardar down, or get lucky bashes on somebody and just try to take him out. But really, I haven't felt the Lifestealer's presence so much in these later game teamfights. I mean, later game is really only referring to 25 minutes in, where at the start, you could really tell that Lifestealer is just so unbelievably strong, but now he's just getting kited. He was so low from tanking Roshan with that DD that he was unable to really engage. The second time around when they were pushing into the tier 1 mid, he didn't really get to attack a whole lot of anything. He kind of just walked around a lot, which is the one big fear that I had when they picked this hero in the first place. But Liquid going to be able to push the tier 1 mid. Got some smoke up behind him as well. Korok and IX Mike sitting here ready to support if need be. But it's 19-9, and it really feels like the score is not indicative of what's actually going on in this game, because I'm really feeling like Dignitas is going to have a hard time throwing this lead away.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they have the BKB done for Aoi 2000. They haven't been fighting into any really enclosed locations. There's not been any big walls from Bulba. They're catching people out with the Dream Coil. They're getting the Fiend's Grip off. They've got so much lockdown. It's very difficult for Liquid to find lockdown themselves. So they only have really that Shackle Shot. They've got the Split Earth, but you need to hit that, of course, and as well as the Telekinesis, which isn't even maxed yet from IX Mike, but still. If Liquid can get a few walls, if they can get a few fights with TC just pumping out the maximum amount of damage, I mean, he's going to have Lincoln Sphere apparently actually going for him right now. So an interesting choice going for the spell block as well as his rage, which gives him that magic immunity. That's certainly interesting, and that's going to provide him, I guess he doesn't want to get hit up with, either Dream Coil or Fiend's Grip, whatever. They don't want to have him focus down, but now Ancient's going for Aoi 2000 and the rest of Dignitas. So they're just ensuring, like you said, they don't want to throw this away, and it's not going to happen if they continue to farm like this and get kills and relocates.
Yeah, right now Liquid just in a very, very tough spot. They're going to go ahead and smoke up after their Ancient stack is done, earning Aoi back up. And again, he does have that BKB, has the Aegis ready to go. Rubik sitting on just level 9. Life is difficult for him at the moment. Bane actually almost level 11. And Rubik does not have a spell at the moment because he did end up dying at the end of that last team fight. I don't know why I thought he died twice. I thought I saw him die, and then I just looked at it again and I was like, well, I guess I'm just crazy. But
I don't know, man. I lose track so often in team fights. I have no idea what's happening. Sometimes you're like, oh, wait, did he buy back? No, I was somebody else. Is he dead? I don't know. It's ridiculous sometimes, especially in this game.
Yeah, I think I looked back to see if he had spell stolen something, and then maybe I thought that's why I thought he was dead, because I didn't see a spell. But yeah, I don't know. Well, regardless, Right now, Dignitas was looking for a smoke up there towards mid by the tier 2. Not successful, as the rest of Liquid was farming their own Ancients, so both teams trying to be as efficient as possible. Looks like Korok's going to go ahead and deny the mid tier 2. And he is very, very close to his Orchid, by the way, so that could help out in a big way. If they manage to burn the Lincolns off the Weaver first, they could potentially burst him. He can use his Orchid to stop Bane from channeling his ulti. They could Orchid the Puck. There's a lot of opportunities, and I think that Orchid's going to be a pretty solid pickup. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite as fast as it was in game number 1 when he was playing on the Outworld Devourer, but in this particular game, it's still going to help out a lot. It just depends on if they can get it and that clutch timing. Can they get it off before Fogged uses all of his skills? Can they use it on the Bane to interrupt a spell, or can they use it to kill Universe? So it's all going to be down to how they use their items, how they initiate these team fights. Liquid still obviously can come back. It's going to be a tall order, but it still is well within their reach.
Absolutely. And I think the problem with Liquid was there, and I don't want to say that they lost it there, but I think their draft, was a little bit worse than Dignitas'. Dignitas sort of had that sort of open-ended, we're going to experiment with this, we're going to use this slaughter, and it's worked very effectively for them. Liquid has a very standard lineup, and it certainly works well, but it does require a lot to work. It requires Bulba getting that farm quickly to get that early wall, which he didn't get. It requires TC to be doing damage. He's done some damage, but it hasn't been enough. It requires for Leshrac to roam around with Ix Mike, get kills, which didn't happen. So I think, like we talked about, the map presence with the relocate, that did happen with Tides of Time, right as he hit that level 6, was really what started swinging the favor for Dignitas. And of course, on top of that, Universe was getting room to farm. They just aren't able to kill him. And he's sitting on a Yasha as well as 2,000 gold right now. And Fogged has been playing out of his mind. Well, he's going to be buying that full Scythe of Eyes up soon, and so that Hex is going to be available. And now, Liquid, it's going to be even tougher. Like we said, they can come back, but already they're down 10,000, 12,000 experience now and 5,000 of gold. So they've got a lot to do here. They've got a lot of work to get ahead.
Well, the one bright thing for Liquid is that somehow, I don't even know how this is really possible, but TC is managing to stay on top of the net worth by multiple thousands of gold, considering his team has next to no map presence right now. If you look at the way everyone is positioned from Liquid, they're all sitting right behind their Life Stealer who's farming the top lane. And Korok, in the meantime, I think he did finally finish his Orchid. Yeah, he's finally got it picked up. TC got that Lincoln's done. And he's still got that armlet, he's got the Basher, Phase Boots, and a Midas, and an additional 1,800 gold. So it's not like the carry of Liquid isn't farmed. So there's still potential here for a team fight coming out of Liquid. They could take something if they manage to get that good wall, get the vacuum off, get a nice combo going, perhaps line it up with the Leshrac Split Earth. Then things could definitely start going their way. But the way Dignitas has been playing, with their just insane mobility, the BKB being finished on Aoi, it's still going to be very, very difficult. So both teams kind of just happy to farm at the moment, and things have died down quite a bit, I would say, in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it sort of feels like there's this little truce between teams at this point. They're just like, all right, we're going to go to our jungle, you're going to go to your jungle, and we're going to farm, and that's going to be it. This does benefit, I think, Aoi a little bit more just because he needs more farm. As you can see, he's far behind. He's actually at 11,000 net worth, and we talked about TC. I mean, yeah, he's pretty farmed. He's got a lot of items on him. The Basher, the Lincolns, the Midas done on him. He's also got 2,000 gold in the bank as well. So Liquid certainly, they're okay with the getting farm as well, but right now, Universe now has that Manta style, so there is that secondary damage from Dignitas as well, but there is going to be a smoke gang coming in from Liquid here, and they could maybe catch out somebody, but Dignitas is going to smartly TP back to the mid lane, and they're not going to find anybody in this jungle.
Really nice reaction from Dignitas. I love this timing from Liquid, though, because if you look at the Roshan pit, Roshan's going to be spawning any second now. So Liquid realizes that. They want to try to assert their map presence in a way that Dignitas is not in position to contest Roshan, especially if they're able to get a pick. They're sitting mid right now. This could be the opportunity that they've been looking for. Ix Mike goes in, phase shift already goes off, Fogging get Orchid, but he manages to blink away before taking any damage. Now Aoi's going to teleport in, gets a two-man stun. TC is not going to be Fiend's Grip, just yet. It's going to be Darkseer as the first one to go down. Doesn't even get his wall off, and the Fiend's Grip is stolen again by Ix Mike. Uses it on Aoi, actually gets teleported out. A little bit of a mistake coming out from the Wisp. It looks like Tides and Aoi were actually pretty close by because they just waltzed back into the team fight, and that's going to be a triple kill for Universe in the meantime. So 4 heroes down on the side of Liquid, and a little bit of a backfire. If somebody had just done a single point of damage to Fogged, that fight would have looked completely different.
Yeah, I mean, they really wanted that kill on Fogged. That was such a good reaction time. He got out of there so quickly. He's just like, oh god, click, click, click. He clicked that blink dagger, make sure he got off, and it did in time. This leads to a Roshan attempt. They lost nobody in that fight. Way Too Sexy was about 10 HP, and TC was about to finish him off, but he was kind of getting focused as well. So I mean, way two could have gone down. In fact, they did actually steal, of course, like you talked about, the Fiend's Grip, but it just wasn't enough. There wasn't the wall. Bulba didn't get it down. There really wasn't a vacuum, and I think Bulba died relatively quickly in that fight. Korok going down too. I mean, he provided a little bit of damage with that power shot, but still, I don't know. If you can't win a fight like that, jumping on top of your puck, or the puck, I should say, then I don't know what you can do. And now, especially with the Aegis up on, of course, Aoi 2000, he's also getting that AC done too. So, wow, that was not the best fight for them, but Dignitas now going to be taking that lead. They're going to be taking the Roche and maybe look to push into a tier 2 or Rax even.
Yeah, Dignitas looking to be in fantastic shape. I didn't think of it before, but it's actually pretty easy to steal Fiend's Grip because it's such a long channel. And obviously, Way2's not going to cancel his ultimate just because he doesn't want to get a kill on a Darkseer, which is how Bulba died in the first place. But it's a really nice thing to steal because it goes through BKB. Obviously, you can put it on somebody like Slardar. Aoi was actually gripped for a decent amount of time during that fight. But just that initiation, not being able to get fogged down right away. They use the Orchid. And that, not having that is actually a very, very big deal because it allows Universe to play a lot more aggressive. It allows Puck, obviously, to reinitiate once he gets out of the fight and he knows he's safe, then he can go back in. So everything's said and done. Liquid had an opportunity, again, to make something really big happen there, but instead they lose a team fight. Roshan goes the way of Dignitas for the second time. It's going to be another Aegis up for Aoi. And Liquid is just now in this position where they're running along their side of the map, looking to try to find some farm. But really, when you lose map control, the amount of effective farm you can actually accumulate drops dramatically, and TC still continues to be on the top of the net worth on a very, very small area to farm, I might add, and Dignitas finally looking to apply some pressure of their own as they're pushing into top.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to try to defend this tier 2. There's a glyph available. They can TP back if they want to, but I think at this point, if you're on Liquid side, you're probably thinking, all right, just let them take whatever tier 2, maybe defend the bottom one, which is why they're pushing it out. TP for tier 3, make sure you defend that, but don't try to go for anything else. And I mean, the team fights have gone this way. It's pretty clowny, actually, because TC will go in and he'll survive for a long period of time, but his supporting cast dies around him, so he's got nobody there to help him out. He's just like, well, where is everybody? So unfortunately, it hasn't worked out for them. They're going to push into the tier 3, though, and now Liquid will try to mount a defense, and it's going to be a big one. They've got to try to defend here if Dignitas continues to push in.
I think this could very well be one of the last team fights. If Liquid can't defend this, then I think we're going to be seeing a Game 3, which of course I'm sure the fans want, and of course we want ourselves. Being the greedy casters that we are, we enjoy casting our own teams, the North American boys, of course, but Dignitas looking to take a potential game off of Liquid here in game number 2 of this killing spree. Of course, my name's Draskyl, joined by none other than Maut of Neo Dota, and I mean, Aoi is playing it a little bit passive, I would say, considering he's got an AC, a BKB, and a Blink Dagger. I just kind of get that feeling if they wanted to, they could teleport right behind Liquid right now and just go for it.
I think they absolutely will, but I like the cautiousness coming out from Dignitas. They're not trying to make any mistakes here, and that's really what's really great about Dignitas is they play so passively sometimes, but at the same time, when there's a chance for them to really take something, they absolutely grab it, and that's why you see so many big team fights coming for them. They're going to just wait a little while longer, it looks like, for whatever reason. They're going to wait for another creep wave to push. They're just waiting, making sure they've got time here. I'm not exactly sure what they're waiting for. TC actually, or excuse me, Aoi's going to push out the mid lane, which is what I think they're going to do. Put a little bit of split pushing pressure right now on the tier 3 in the mid lane as well, and then go for a relocate whenever they need to. I mean, they have the Wisp, they can tether in whenever, or relocate whenever, so I definitely like the passive play, but still at the same time, it does allow Liquid to still try to push this out and maybe get more farm that they necessarily don't need. I want an Abyssal Blade for Lifestealer too.
The Abyssal Blade will definitely help be able to at least stick on somebody like the Slardar, who's going to obviously be going into the team fight. But that's kind of what Dignitas want as well. Looks like the team fight might have started a little bit prematurely. Universe getting hit a little bit there by TC. TC forced to use his Rage Blink forward. They're going to go for TC right away. Aoi blinks in. He throws off the amp, but it gets eaten by the Linken's. Fiends are going to go off on a Korok. In the meantime, Wall is down. Universe taking quite a bit of damage himself. No one actually dead from either side just yet. Fluff looks like he's going to be the first one to go down. Tides, very low hit points. IX Mike stole the Illusory Orb in the process. Can he get Tides in time? It doesn't look like it as Universe picks up a second kill for Dignitas. So Liquid sitting at 2 down. Wall still in place. And it looks like Dignitas needs a pause at a very inopportune time, as they are kind of just hitting on the racks right now, and apparently there's some FPS drop. Universe, hopefully everything is all in well for him, but Liquid, I mean, there was a lot going on right there, and no one, unfortunately, dying for Dignitas.
I mean, they were really close, a bunch of them really close, and it took them about 30 seconds just to burst Owie down, and they finally did get him, but then the Aegis popped, and then they had to back off, and now the Raxes are exposed. There's nobody here to defend. TC actually went back to the base to regen. I mean, that fight was good for Liquid. It was probably one of the better fights they could have gotten. The wall was nice, right on top of pretty much everybody. There was no vacuum, I don't think that really followed up, but the damage was there. But everybody's just so squishy on Liquid, just because you look at the levels right now. 9 for IX Mike, that's really far behind, and 10 for, of course, Fluff too. So they're playing right now very underleveled against a team that is very leveled with a 19 in terms of the puck, as well as, of course, the Weaver. 17 for Owie 2000, who could dish out the damage. They've got the amp damage. They've got a lot of AoE as well. And now with the Raxes exposed, I mean, there's a glyph available, but I don't see if they shouldn't be able to defend this. That's how I'm going to phrase it. They should not be able to defend this.
Well, there are a couple of people who are quite low. I mean, Tides has basically no health to speak of. Universe is pretty low himself, and he did not... Or did he use his ultimate during the last team fight? I suppose I can just look. Yeah, he did. Okay, so his time lapse is on cooldown. He doesn't have much health. They do have the glyph. I think they could potentially one Rax here, and then they have to back. I don't think they can go for 2 because the supports are actually so low level that they're going to be resurrecting here in just about 30 seconds each, and that's not really a whole lot of time. So we'll see if Liquid can manage to stem the tide. They might just call GG if Dignitas is able to Rax here, because they are actually getting a lot farther behind. Yeah, 15, closer to 20,000 gold lead for Dignitas, and looking at over 25,000 experience. And that kind of a lead at any stage in the game is going to be huge, much less at the 36.5-minute mark. So we'll see if Liquid can manage to stem the tide, and hopefully Universe's PC is all okay and not on fire or anything like that. But of course, we want to thank everybody for watching, and of course, thanks to Maut for being here and letting me take your spot, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's no problem at all. I always like taking your break. Let somebody else take the workload sometime, you know. I love play-by-play casting, but there's a certain point where my voice is just like, hey, I need a day here, okay? So, but I really appreciate you actually doing it for us, and it's a lot of fun. These games have been good so far, so.
Yeah, it's been really exciting, Dota. Looks like Universe is reconnected to the game. Hopefully everything is all okay so we can get this game started. And I'm pretty sure that this is going to be going to a Game 3, and apparently Fogged has an important phone call, so we're going to have to delay a little bit more, but I'm sure everybody understands who's watching. And this is one of those situations where you look at it and you're kind of thinking to yourself, do we really want to keep playing this? I mean, do we really want to keep playing this? As a commentator, we're always taught to not really call a game before it's over, but I'm pretty sure that Dignitas is going to be far-fetched from losing this one.
I mean, they would have to do some colossal throwing at this point. I mean, there's no way around it. If Dignitas threw this game, it would probably be one of the more colossal throws I've seen in quite some time. There is a way for Liquid to win it, but it's going to take about 5 or 6 team fights in a row to do so, on top of the fact of just big throws. And I agree with you. I mean, Liquid probably right now, certainly if they lose this Rax, they're probably going to say, okay, we need to just, you know, re-strategize, recompose ourselves. There's still a third game to play. I mean, there's a lot on the line here. If Dignitas can win this, they're going to be King of the Hill for that's 2 weeks in a row for them. So that's a good pickup for them. And it's already, you know, Dignitas is a very strong North American team too. So they're playing very well for themselves. Liquid, however, they're not going to give up just yet. At least I'd imagine. Yeah, I don't think they really ever should give up until that point where those Raxes go down. And of course, that Game 3 is going to come along, and that's going to be the real interesting if that does happen. But right now, the game's still, of course, going on. Fogged has a phone call. It's funny, you mentioned Universe's computer on fire. Actually, Fogged, I was casting them not too long ago, and Fogg's computer had actually literally been on fire, so he couldn't play. They had to get Snaking to stand in, and that was pretty funny. So hopefully his computer's okay, and hopefully Fogged, his important phone call is not of a negative nature.
Yeah, I've actually never seen a computer combust before, but I've heard of stories that it has happened, usually pertaining to video cards and processors. But regardless, I'm sure everything is going to be fine, and Dignitas is going to be back here in just a minute, and everyone's going to be okay. Let's do this. We're going to see Dignitas is able to push into this Rax in the top lane, but no matter what happens, of course, we are always happy to have you guys. So again, thanks for watching, and it looks like Dignitas is finally ready to go, and Fluff gives the go-ahead, so the unpause should be coming. Yes, and things are back underway, Maut, so it's looking very likely that we're going to see a Game 3.
Absolutely. There's going to be the fortification, and they're going to try to defend us as long as possible. There's still 20 seconds. Vacuum going to do a nice job of throwing them right into that wall, but the wall goes down now, so... Oh,
nice shackle onto Universe right here. Unfortunately, he is still Shikuchi'd, so he's going to be fine for the moment. Owie blinks in and gets a nice double stun. Look at how fast Korok and Bulba both just die Buyback immediately from the Darkseer. TC trying to run away to base, gets bashed.
The bash.
Not sure if he's actually going to be able to make it, and looks like he's going to be dropping as well. Another Vacuum. Universe quite low at the moment. Actually doesn't use his time lapse, just pops the wand instead. And yep, the top racks are going to completely fall, so it's 28-9. Another blanket from Owie and a triple crush, and Fluff just says, you know what? I'm going to call GG before you kill me, so that death doesn't count.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it right in that pause. We said, you know, if that Rex goes down, there's a good chance they're going to call GG. And, I mean, they tried to mount the defense. TC did quite a bit of damage there. Unfortunately, that was such a great blink from Al. You talked about how much damage he dished out with that amplification of damage. It just was so much right now. Great draft from Dignitas. The Slaughter pickup does work for them as well. And, of course, Fog playing out of his mind on that puck. Got to hand it to Dignitas right now. And it's going to go to Game 3, so very excited for that.
I think everyone is going to be pretty pleased with the outcome of this best of 3 so far. Game number 1, Liquid looked very, very strong, managed to get a win, I think a little bit faster than 37 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it was more like 30 or 35-minute game, but Dignitas answers back, and they're able to secure a win of their own. So, of course, Liquid going to be disconnecting, and we're going to have the end screen for you guys. Check out the TPMs and all that cool stuff. But, again, my name is Draskyl, joined by Maut, and man, Game 3, this is like the epic conclusion where there has to be at least 200 kills in 10 minutes, or it's just not a good Game 3.
That's right. It's got to be up in that kill total. There has to be non-stop action. It's not a good game if you're not talking all the time, just with complete play-by-play coverage of the game, and it's just going to be flying over the place. So hopefully that does happen for you guys. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoy any high kill game. This game, sort of 32-10, it got up there later on in the game once Dignitas got that relocate going, and of course their farm up on Owie. But going to the Game 3, this will be the climactic conclusion. Very happy to see what's going to happen.
Well, we'll see if Dignitas is able to come back and 2-0 Liquid, or if Liquid will come back from their one-game loss and ultimately beat out Dignitas. Either way, it's going to be a 2-1 here at Killing Spree. Again, my name is Draskyl, joined by Maut. We'll be back with Game 3 coming up next.